Okay, so this is the updated sizing that I'm doing right now. And I'm using my son as an example. I have just heated this water for 3 minutes in the microwave. This is scaled to 80%. I haven't even tested this yet, but I figured why not go ahead and record. So I'm just going to set this in there. It needs to sit in there for about 20 seconds. You'll see it start to slump, okay? Now there's a couple things to know. There's a smooth surface and there's the top. Basically the smooth is what the bottom layer when it's printed. You can tell. It's also the part where the perforation merges together. We want to have that away from us, okay? Because when we separate the two pieces, it's going to create kind of a little bit of a pokey area. But here's the important thing. I've got it hot. I'm going to set it between these. These are just basically DVD cases. And I'm going to stretch it out laterally. And as I do that, the top and bottom become closer together, okay? That's important because, and I actually did this backwards. Silly me, I was focusing too much on the video, but I put the flat side towards me as opposed to away. That won't really matter, but just for demonstration's sake, go ahead and try to have it the other way. In fact, I can go ahead and just do it now because I just reheated it. That's the nice thing is if you ever do something wrong, you can just throw it back in the water. And I'm going to evenly pull it away. And what happens is the top and bottom get closer together, which means that the bridge portion has to go somewhere, and so it slumps down, creating the separation that we need to lift the mask off, okay? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start forming the top and bottom. This goes over the bridge of the nose and this goes around the chin, okay? So go ahead and take your glasses off for me, buddy. I'm going to dip both of them, get them slightly soft. For about 10 seconds. And then I'm going to set this right in the bridge of his nose. Oh, needs to go a little bit softer. It cools down pretty quickly. So in fact, I'm going to kind of just freehand sculpt it a little bit to start the process. And I'm just kind of pressing on his bridge of his nose and on the cheeks. Okay. And last but not least, not that important, but I'm going to take this top part that is kind of vertical and I'm going to get it hot. I'm going to try to curl it under a little bit. That's not imperative, but I do like to try and do that. Bend it down a little bit. Actually over bend it down. And I'm going to come back to his face and I'm going to refine it a little bit. Remember, you really can't over melt and soften this. Hold still. He's moving away from me a little bit. Okay, it's actually much easier when you do it to yourself. Okay, one more time, just to get it just right. Hold real still for me, buddy.
Hey there.
Yeah, babe.
How do you exit out of...
You gotta wait till it finishes. It's really frustrating. Okay, so this is all done. So now it is molded. It fits his face. In fact, I don't know what I was thinking. This is PLA. Okay, this is a low melting temperature material. You don't even have to have the mask off when you do this, okay? Mask on. If you're using PETG, which is a little bit going to stand up to cleaning a little better, it'll last longer, that you want to have the mask because it has to get a lot hotter. And honestly, hot water is probably not sufficient. You have to use a heat gun to get it hot enough. So the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to separate it. So I'm going to put my blade out just a little bit. And I'm going to very carefully insert it. And I'm going to hold the blade against, I'm holding my hand still. I'm not actually moving the blade. And I'm just feeding the mask through the blade. I don't know, anyone that's done any woodworking, it's kind of like a bandsaw. I'm not moving the blade, I'm moving in the bandsaw would be wood. And if I get to a spot that stops, that's fine. Just reposition. These are all perforated. And if you skip one or two, it's okay because we can snap those apart. There's just too many of them. I think there's 102 total attachment points. So it's going to be tough to actually just snap each of them. It would be nice, but hasn't worked so far. So for now, there we go. So these two pieces are now concurrent. They fit back together just like they're supposed to. Take off your mask, buddy. And I'll set these up here. And just so you can kind of see where I'm working with. Here's the mask. I'm going to take the internal, the cage, the frame. It's going to go right inside the mask. I'm going to hold the mask against it. And I'm going to find the outside frame and just match the two of them up. It won't be perfect, but it gets pretty close. Does not fall off. So now when you take the mask off, you set it down or whatever, we shouldn't be doing that. I know that's a whole different discussion, but you see they don't fall off, okay? They're together. So now you can put the mask back on. And of course, we're missing one thing. We're going to have to get a little head strap that grabs onto these components to pull it tight. But you can see that it's now form-fitted. And he's got much more surface area because it's not sucked up against his face. So we've got the advantage of the external frame to help pull it against his face. We've got the internal cage to keep it inflated so he's got more surface area and less likely for his saliva and his any liquids from his nose to touch the screen or the mask. And if we want, we can even pull a little bit. Not that this is necessary, but if you want to, if you've got a really big mask, you can inflate that, and since it's kinked between the two, it'll hold still. You've got it even more inflated. So I'm going to bring the camera close to you, buddy, so we can see it. Where are you? There you go. Hold still. All right. There we go, dude. Thanks.